Welcome to BLITZ on Windstream Channel 4. I'm your host, Brian Carter. Today's show features a pair of basketball interviews, some highlights, the player of the week, and much more. But right now, I'm at Dawson County High School with Lady Tigers basketball coach Steve Sweat. Coach, thanks for taking some time out of the school day to come down here and talk to us about your team.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Now, no surprise, you know I'm going to ask about your team's unbelievable turnaround from last season. You were 4-19 a year ago.
Right.
This year, you're 10-5 so far on the season. It's got a lot of other teams wondering what's in the drinking water here at Dawson County. But in all seriousness, what's been the difference this year, and how have your girls made it to the next level?
Well, I think in the beginning we realized that last year was a tough year, okay, and obviously we hope to improve on that, and so far we have. And to answer the question, I believe, number one, the experience that we got last year, we played a lot of kids, and they got a lot of minutes on varsity, which I believe helps. And because of the fact that we didn't have any seniors, we had everybody coming back. So that has helped us as well. They got a year under their belt last year, as the old saying goes, and this year now I believe that experience is helping us out. We also had a couple of kids, well, four freshmen that are on the varsity this year. And, you know, they came for us from the middle school last year and came right in on our varsity team and made it. And three of them start for us at different times. Some of those have been our leading scorer. Fortunately, and that's probably another plus for us and our record being what it is, we've had, I think, 6 different high scorers in our 15 games that we've played. So the scoring's been spread around, which is a good thing. And just the overall team atmosphere, I believe, is and got everybody back and everybody knowing each other a little bit better has helped us improve our record.
Now, you talked about having 6 different leading scorers throughout your 15 games this season. Do you on any particular night want to go to a certain scorer, or do you kind of try to just keep it balanced and whoever ends up with the ball?
I believe our kids feel like Jesse Phillips is our main scorer, who you'll see here lately. But in those games, you know, of course, you find one that if we get somebody that's got a hot hand, well, we try to go to that person and, you know, get them the ball, let them score, and hopefully they keep scoring. But I believe, you know, if you ask our players, they would probably tell you that Jesse's is our best one right now.
Now, as is usually the case when a team has a struggling season like you did last year, it's easy for some people to assume those struggles continue into the next year. I mean, usually you won't see a team go from 4-19 to 10-5 to start a season. Usually it's a slower transition. But I got to ask, were you surprised at all in how quickly you were able to turn things around?
Well, yes. I mean, deep down inside, yes. I'm like you. I didn't know it would be that quick. You know, I hoped that it would, and you wished, hoped, whatever you want to say. And then we got going, and you know, and we thought, hey, this is pretty good, you know. And then we moved some people around and try to get your right combinations and get the right players out there at the right time, and you know, some things started clicking, and you know, we looked up and like the kids said, and they really hadn't said much about it either, and of course you don't want to jinx yourself, I guess, and so we talked about it for one time last week, and they said about our record, and I think it sort of it hit them, so to speak, and so we realized that, you know, hey, we are sitting at 10-4, and of course we're going into a tough part of the season now, which is our sub-region. I still call it sub-region, not the crossover games as you had mentioned earlier, and that you know, it's going to be tough. So now is really when we're going to see how much we've improved.
Now, Coach, break down your team a little bit for us. Who have been the girls that have really led the charge this season, and who have been some of the more pivotal players on the team?
Okay. We had, well, Jessie has probably led us in scoring. I'm not sure exactly on these stats that I'm throwing out, but I think she's probably been the leading scorer most of the time. And then we've got Morgan Bennett, who is our 2 player, plays that wing, what we call I guess you'd call it the shooting guard. And she has led us some, and then Carly Gilreath has come on as one of the freshmen that starts for us and as a point guard. And you know, big difference between starting at point for the middle school and then starting on the varsity the very next year. But she has handled it really well. A lot of pressure being the point guard, and I think she has come on strong and really helped us out. She's been the leading scorer a couple of times. You know, and I talk about the leading scorers. A lot of times that's, you know, the points are great and you got to have the points to win, but somebody helps you get them points a lot of times. And, you know, there are other players on our team we we got some different role players. One of our seniors, Christian Daniel, goes in and does a good job just battling, we call it. You know, real strong on the boards, and she's been our leading rebounder probably more than anybody else. We have in the past 3 or 4 games, I believe, we start 2 freshman post players. You know, we look for them to score inside. And then our other outside shooter, Hannah Porter, is another freshman that comes off of the bench and goes in and has really been getting some good minutes. Amanda Sheriff is a junior, one of our juniors, and we probably go about 10, sometimes 11, maybe 12 deep, and that's pretty much it. Judith Hall comes in, and the good thing about Judith Hall, she is one of our seniors, and she plays different positions, which I think is an advantage. It's a definite advantage for her. And it gives us a way to move people around and put them in different spots according to, back to those combinations I was saying earlier, we can switch the combinations around because of one thing, because of Judith being able to play different positions. And I believe all that's helped.
Now, Coach, you've had a number of lopsided games this year, and I got to read off these scores. You had a 64-5, 73-1, and 72-11 over Cross Keys, and 54-16. That's some. I actually thought those were typos the first time I saw them.
Yeah,
and I had to make sure I read that correctly. But how in the world has your team been able to dominate in that kind of fashion? Well,
I believe you know, they realize, and I've coached girls and boys, and once girls realize they can do something, I think that's a really good thing, because then they're more apt to do it more often, I believe. Anyway, you know, the sharing of the ball, I believe, has really helped, because in those games, if we broke down the individual scoring, you would see that we had, I believe, in every one of them games you just called out, we had either 10 or 11 people score. Wow. And we only dress out 14. So. And if I'm not mistaken, I think in one of those, actually 13 of the 14 scored. Now, you know, it might not have been but 2 points, but everybody, they shared the ball. I believe that's part of it. The good thing was we got people that was going in and hopefully figuring out what their role is, and they're going in and doing that for us now, which has been a plus for us. You know, the games, when it was like that, that's really hard. I've been coaching a while. I don't know, 27 years now, I think, but I've never really been in games that was like that, and it's really hard because, you know, I definitely don't want to be on the other side of it.
Right.
But at the same time, it's hard to get your kids not to, you know, show up or embarrass, do anything that looks like you're trying to embarrass the other team. And we didn't do that. I don't think we did that. And, you know, sharing the ball again and just passing it around and getting everybody involved, I believe, was a good thing. And the attitude of winning, I think, has helped. And I believe it contributed to some of those, the fact that, you know, we realize we can win if we'll go on and do what we're supposed to do. And you know, the score shows it.
Now, the only team that seems to have really given you a lot of trouble this year is Walnut Grove, and they beat you twice this season for a combined 39 points. At the end of the season, you have your region crossover tournament, but there is the possibility that you could meet them again. And if you do, how would you change your game plan against them?
Well, the first time they scored 70 points on us, which was not a good thing, obviously. And we had to do something, so we tried to switch up defenses on them the second time, and it worked. As far as the point total goes, it worked. It went from 70 to 52. It was 52 or 53. And so, okay, we cut their points down, but the problem was that night that we held them to 52, which it felt like the defensive side worked, we didn't get but 30-something. Yep. And so we still wound up losing the game, which was not a good thing. But, you know, I feel like we would have to do some of both of the things that we had. The first time we played them, they beat us by 20-something, I think, but I believe we scored 50s. Well, if we would have scored 50s the second time, we held them to 52, it would have been a pretty good game. But we didn't do that. So we got to be more consistent when we play them. We got to know that they're going to score. They got some strong points. They have a good inside-outside combination. They got a real good point guard, and they got real good post players. You know, when they play that two-man game or even a three-man game on one side, they're hard to stop. But now we knocked their point total down, which I was really pleased with, as I said. But at the same time, our point total went down, and we can't do that against them. they're a good enough team that if you're going to beat them, you're going to have to score with them. And that's what we would have to change to beat them if we see them again.
Now, during a season like this, you're 10-5. You've got, like Coach Burgess on the guys' side, he's excited about next year having every one of his players coming back next year. He has no seniors, and you've only got a few seniors on your team, 3 or 4. You got to kind of be excited about next year as well, right?
Yes, sure am. We get again this year. We've got a lot of new people with those freshmen, the ones I'm calling new. They're getting a lot of varsity experience. Well, they've played every game on the varsity so far. So right now they got 15 games under their belt already. By the end of the season, we could have 20-something if we come on at the end and start winning. So when you got all those people playing and the young folks are in there, and everybody we got for the most part, we do have 4 seniors. And then we will lose those 4, and they play important roles, But at the same time, we got kids behind them that are going to be back for 2 and 3 more years, which is a pleasing factor. And as Coach Burgess is as well, I'm real pleased with what we're going to have coming back, And people talk about that, but the thing is, it's like I had somebody ask me today about, said y'all going to be pretty good next year, and I said, yeah, but. We got to play this year. What about the coach's heart this year? Right. So I said, we got to get through this year first. And it is exciting to know that you got those kids coming back. But at the same time, you can't let that stop you from doing stuff. And I don't believe they are or we are. I know we're not. But, we got to continue to work, or we're just going to stay where we are. 10-5 is a good record, but it would be a whole lot better if it was 15-0 or 14-1, which it very well could be. Give or take a few bounces of the ball here and there. So we got to continue to work. It doesn't matter what grade you're in, and do what we got to do to make our team as good as we can be. And hopefully what we're doing is going to carry over to next year, and I am excited about it.
You also have to be excited. Mid-February coming up, you got your region crossover tournament at the end of the season. Actually going to be played here at Dawson County on your home court.
Yes.
What kind of boost is that going to give your team? Do you think that's going to give your girls an advantage playing in front of the home crowd?
I think so. Well, just knowing, that comfort of playing in your own gym, how that works. And then I don't know, you talk to different people and they say it's 4, 5, 6, maybe even 10 points sometimes difference in the point total if you're playing at home. I'm not so sure that makes that much of a difference to us as far as the point total goes. Our scoring has been about the same on or at home or away. But at the same time, in our region, our bus rides are lengthy. Yeah. And, does it matter? I think it probably does at certain times. It's according to what happened that day and all that. I mean, we do coach girls. I mean, let's be real here. So, everything matters. And that bus ride, I believe, can take its toll on you. And knowing that we don't have to get on that bus and go ride an hour to hour and a half to play, we just get to come here and play the first 2 rounds. And I think that is an advantage for us. I think the kids see it as that. And hopefully with that and with the improvement on our record, and if we continue to work, we're going to have to beat the teams we got to beat, or we're not going to make it anyway. But knowing that we get to play at home is a good thing because, number one, we don't have to travel, and we're playing in the comfort of our own gym.
Well, Coach Spratt, thanks again for your time here on Blitz today, and congratulations on such a great season you're having so far.
Thank you.
We hope it continues for you.
Thank you. Coach does too.
When we come back in just a moment, we're going to spend some time with Lady Tigers guard Jesse Phillips.